Hello everyone, I'm Xiaofu. Today I will present our paper about a survey study of banking practices and challenges among older adults in China, which conducted with Emily Kuang and my advisor Mingming. Global studies have shown that digital banking is increasingly popular. Over half of adults reported having made or received at least one digital payment in 2016, and the use of digital payments is on the rise. The share of adults around the world making or receiving digital payments increased by 11 percentage points within 3 years. Besides, according to the SIGCHI Oracle, over 80% of consumers are using digital channels to engage with their bank. Moreover, the recent COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the digital trend of banking globally. The call for countless digital banking is imperative. This emergence of digital banking aims to bring convenience to people. However, it also brings challenges. In particular, older adults may face more challenges due to age-related declines, slower adoption speed of technology, and being less tech-savvy. As a consequence, they are likely to encounter more problems. Here is one example that I observed in some physical banks in China. What we might expect is that people would enjoy the convenience brought by digital banking at home. While in reality, many older adults carry their phones to physical banks, still waiting in a long line and ask banking staff to help them operate the banking apps. This observation motivated us to investigate older adults' banking experiences and challenges. We conducted this study in China, which has the largest older adult population. Besides, compared to other countries, the Chinese e-commerce market is the largest and fastest growing in the world. In the meantime, China has been experiencing a fast growth in digital banking and has become the forefront of digital banking. Through a thorough literature review, we found that previous research studied people's acceptance of online banking. However, such studies focus on young adults. Although recent studies explore digital banking among older adults, they primarily focus only on specific aspects of digital banking. They did not provide a holistic understanding of how older adults use all platforms to manage their financial needs. What's more, digital payment and virtual banks are emerging new forms of digital banking technologies. Little is known about whether and to what extent older adults use such technologies along with other banking technologies. We also found evidence that age and gender have been shown to affect older adults' perceptions and experiences with new technologies. Thus, to fill these gaps in the literature, we seek to understand these three research questions. RQ1. What are older adults' banking practices with both physical and digital platforms? RQ2. What are older adults' experiences and challenges with these platforms? RQ3. How might age and gender affect banking behaviors? We conducted an online survey and distributed it in both local community centers and social media platforms. We got 158 responses from 18 provinces in total and discarded 3 invalid responses. Our participants covered young old, old and oldest old adults, showing the demographic information table. For the single choice questions and multiple choice questions, we calculate descriptive statistics like percentage. For free-form test responses, we analyzed them and derived common themes. Further, we conducted Pearson's chi-square test to understand whether older adults' banking practices correlate with their age group and gender. As for RQ1, we found that older adults not only banked but also banked frequently. The figure shows older adults' banking frequency, and we could see that the vast majority of them banked every month. About a half even banked 2 to 3 times per month. This figure shows participants' usage of different platforms. We found that physical banking is still the most popular platform, and interestingly, electronic payment is more popular than other digital platforms. As for RQ2, we found that waiting was a frequent and time-consuming part of physical banking experience. The vertical axis of this figure represents for wait time, and the horizontal axis refers to wait frequency at physical banks. Over half of the participants indicated that they needed to line up every time when they went to a bank, and the majority of them needed to wait between 30 minutes and 2 hours before being called. So why do they wait in physical banks over 30 minutes instead of trying other banking platforms? The top 2 reasons reported by our participants are feeling unsafe to use an ATM or app and get used to manual processing. We used a 5-point Likert scale for showing the user-friendliness of using an ATM to conduct banking transactions, as the figure shows. Although fewer participants used the ATMs than physical banks, those who did use ATMs felt positively in general. The more complicated a transaction is, the less satisfied adults are. This figure shows the user-friendliness of using an app to conduct banking transactions. Compared to ATMs, apps were used by even fewer participants. Nevertheless, the ones who used the apps conducted more types of transactions on it than ATMs. Moreover, their experiences of using apps were overall positive. As for participants who did not regularly use ATMs or apps, 40.4% of them reported that they encountered difficulties with using ATMs or apps before. This figure shows participants encountered difficulties with using ATMs or apps. The most frequently mentioned difficulty was being afraid of making mistakes. Other frequently mentioned difficulties were worrying about no printed receipt and getting lost during usage. This finding shows the aspect that our future design should consider. This figure shows correlation between platforms usage and age groups. As age increases, significantly fewer participants tended to use ATMs and apps. In fact, none of the oldest participants use ATMs or apps. Gender has a significant effect on banking frequency, transfer behavior, and electronic payment usage. More research is needed to understand why there might be a gender effect on adults' banking behaviors. As for long wait time in physical banks, future research should investigate factors causing long wait time and optimize interaction flows in physical banks to reduce the wait time. For example, physical banks may design better queuing mechanisms to reduce the wait time, like giving a time period ordering system and real-time ordering situations. Meanwhile, it is also worth considering how best to leverage the wait time to motivate older adults to learn digital banking platforms. Since many older adults reported that they feel unsafe to use them and get used to manual processing, we need to help them to perceive the usefulness and get familiar with these digital banking platforms. Gamification is a possible way to apply here, and there are certain things to consider when designing gamification for older adults. Unlike young gamers, older adults play for socializing, avoid competition, and prefer collaboration and caretaking. We make more suggestions on UX issues which could be addressed by our future design. One category of UX issues is caused by older adults' declining visual and touch acuity. We suggest that designers consider providing multimodal feedback for apps. For example, providing auditory and voice feedback besides the visual feedback. Like in the shown figure, only click correctly in the first blank will get a bingo auditory, otherwise the users will get a bio auditory. And if the user is stuck at its page for a long time, the app would play a recorded voice of a description of its page like, after you have put into card number, press the green button below to continue. Instead of solely relying on touch interaction, we also suggest designers consider alternative interaction modalities like voice user interfaces, which may enable users to address their aims with voice command directly. Unfamiliar user interface elements is another UX issue reported by our participants. We felt that digital banking platforms did not provide familiar printed receipts. To address this issue, we suggest designers consider applying skeuomorphic design to UI elements to bring familiarity to older adults. To address other UX issues, such as feeling lost during use, we suggest designers consider applying senior-friendly design guidelines to create feedback for each step. For example, pre- and post-action states should be provided for each key step to help older adults understand which step they're in, what they would expect to see after completing a step properly, and which step they would move into. Since our research is a quantitative study which has a limited ability to understand reasons behind older adults' practices, thus an in-depth interview study is needed. Also, it is worth carrying out similar studies in other countries and to study the cultural and economic impacts on older adults' banking practices and challenges. Overall, our work made the following contributions. Our work provided a quantitative understanding of older adults' banking practices and challenges with both physical and digital banking platforms and the associated types of banking transactions. Our work provided a quantitative understanding of the effects of age and gender on older adults' banking behaviors. Our works provided design considerations for making banking platforms more accessible to older adults. Thank you for listening. Please read our paper for more detail.